Good afternoon, and it's another day. Could it be in paradise, or could it just be another day in the life of a Tottenham Hotspur fan? Welcome to PRTV Spurs. This is the preview show for Chelsea tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Let's do this. Good afternoon and welcome to PRTV Spurs, Paxton TV, your channel for everything Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And it's that fixture, the Battle of the Bridge. It's the one that Spurs don't like going to because we don't like winning there by the looks of it, or we always end up losing there. So to discuss this and everything else is, as always, Mr. Sam Spurs for Life and Mr. Sean Tottenham Tifosi. Good afternoon, gentlemen. It feels like I just spoke to you yesterday. We're like the X's, innit? We just don't go away. We just keep coming, don't we?
Yeah, we're like a virus on the internet. Yeah, we keep coming back, no matter what protection you use. Yeah, we come back to discuss our infection, which is Tottenham Hotspur.
I was wondering where that was going. Then I was really what? Woo! I was like, okay, this is another show. But anyway, no. I feel the same. We did it to death yesterday. It was a bit of obviously therapy, but we've got more therapy to come. I think if things don't go according to plan.
Absolutely. And as always, wherever you're watching us from, whatever platform, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to PRTV Spurs and Paxton TV. Because, boy, straight after the stream yesterday, I was on this again, setting it all up for today. Then I realised I've got to do a reaction. Then I realised I've got to do Liverpool as well at the weekend. It's all go. And I now feel like Tottenham, in it, where I need a break. I need a 14-day break. You know?
Well, it's up to you, mate. I can do one of the reviews if you want, but you're doing a fabulous job, so I don't mind watching and coming on.
So,
you should have been so good with your graphics.
I know, that's the problem, innit? I know. What can you do?
We need a tutorial on how to do the graphics.
It's easy, man. I'll show you. If anybody wants tutorials, come on, give me a shout. I won't charge you that much. It's all right. A Spurs shirt or something will be nice. Anyway, guys, so it's the Battle of the Bridge, as they always now call it. It's that time of the season where we go into Stamford Bridge. We all know what happened at our stadium. We all know how it went pear-shaped and how we made a certain Michael Jackson look like prime Maradona, prime Zinedine Zidane, prime Ronaldo, prime whatever you want. And then, with 9 men, man scored a hat-trick. So we just capitulated. We just shot ourselves in the foot. And we sort of, the thing we didn't want, Pochettino coming back to Tottenham, give him the points. We did. And then it sort of pushed them on as well. So going into this game tomorrow then, lads, how are you feeling? We'll talk about the team news when I do the team, because obviously we've had some bad news today, as always. But, Sean, going into this game then tomorrow, how are you feeling, especially after losing the North London derby?
Yeah, I mean, you're never confident going to, it could be the worst Chelsea team in history, which many people have said that this team is. But
Yep.
you know that this is one game that they'll be up for. This is a team that sings "We Hate Tottenham" every Saturday, even if they're not playing us. They obviously have a chip on their shoulder about us, and we'll we'll have to be on our mettle, and Sunday doesn't give us a particularly good feeling because we weren't on our mettle, and as Sam has alluded to many a time, people will watch us and know how to deal with us. So let's just hope for something positive from Southwest 6, from the second team in Fulham.
Yeah. How are you feeling, Sam?
Again, depending on how the game goes and what's the attitude of our players and Chelsea's players. The reason I say that is because Chelsea at this stage, Pochettino looks like he's tried everything with them. They just look like they're just a bunch of 11 players that go out and play football now. At this present time, they can get results or they might get tonked. We've got a bit more structure than they have. So again, at the bridge, if they come with the attitude, and I'm talking about Chelsea here, that they want to beat us and they want to make it a physical and fight and all the rest of it, it could be an interesting game. But I can't see them tactically outdoing us, and I can't see them, and I'm not seeing it this season from them, where Pochettino has got them to play a specific game. What I mean by that is as a defend deep and counter-attack. It's all over the place. They're very much like a Manchester United. They're better off attacking than they are defending. Their defenders are worse. So it could be a very good result for us. But the crowd, they're playing. They might, some of them, a couple of them may be up for this as a battle. We have to be up for it as well as they are.
It's one of them stadiums, isn't it, where it's compact. So that fans, like you sort of, both of you already said, they don't like Tottenham. They sing about us every week in, week out, every game, even on a month for Sundays. Whenever any opportunity they want to talk about us, sing about us. And it's going to be noisy. The atmosphere is going to be electric, as always, as it is, because their fans will be well up for it. Because again, like we discussed yesterday, Tottenham fans look at Tottenham Arsenal as the main game. I'm sure these lot, forget Fulham, they're looking at us as their main game. And no matter how bad they're playing, like you said, Sam, they will be up for it because it's Tottenham. And it's down to us to silence it.
Well, they might not be up for it, but Pochettino will certainly be up for it. There'll be
100%.
one or two players that will be. I can't see all of them because, as I said, I've seen enough of Chelsea. But Pochettino, he's really at home. Yeah, he wants to do a double over us, and it'll be, yeah, interesting.
So then let's do this then. So Thursday, 7:30 p.m. kickoff at the Stamford of Bridge. 63 times in the Prem we have met. 34 Tottenham Chelsea wins, 8 wins for Tottenham Hotspur. So we don't win many games against Chelsea. They've beaten us 19 times at Stamford. We've only won once. Yeah, one away win. 15 times they've won at our place, and we've beaten them 7 times with 21 draws. Guys, Sam, this is horrendous, isn't it? One away win in 63, well, in 30, well, one away win. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, one away win.
Shocking.
It's really difficult to even talk about this because, as I said, I remember that away win, and it's Pochettino who gave us that away win. So it's just, we don't have a good record against Chelsea. That goes without saying. That's an obvious statement. But I'm thinking they're not the Chelsea of the Abramovich era. They're going through a major rehaul, and I don't think that Poch has got these players to a point where they're playing the way he wants them to play. So we need to take advantage of that by the way that we play and hope that they don't then try to do something different to what I've seen them do all season. And that is just, they seem to like to just go out and play football and attack. And that should fall into our hands, regardless of whether it's home or away. We've seen the stats of Spurs. So I'm hoping that this could be a very positive game. But yeah, it's not good. So not good. It's not good. It's not good.
Also, you see this 19, home wins. Sam just said something, and I just want to pick him up on that. How many times have we actually been there and we have been the favourites because Chelsea have been playing shit? And how many times have we walked out of there without a result? I can say the last 3-4 games we've played at Stamford Bridge, we've been the better team. Going into that game, we've been at the top second, third, whatever. We've gone there. Everyone said it's a given. Spurs are going to win, and we've just capitulated.
Yeah, they're one of the teams where we play their reputation rather than the team. It's like Old Trafford away.
Yeah.
It's like, to a certain degree, the Emirates away. We seem to we play the history rather than the 11 players that are in front of us. And sometimes, I mean, it's hard to think. Actually, this fixture last season was the Tuchel Conte handshake. So, and to be honest, we went into that game in good form and stank the place out and stole a point. It was terrible. We had the old the bit of shitehousery by Mr. Romero on Cucurella, but it was desperate stuff. I don't know. It's a tough one. A tough one indeed.
So what I will say to that, sorry, just on top of what Sean said, is a lot of changes in both the management and the players have occurred in both those teams since that point. Both teams are playing very differently, as you just said, Sean. We were playing ugly football. We are playing more attractive football now. I would say Chelsea are probably playing more attractive football, although I don't think they're as tactically adept as they are when they were with Tuchel. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
So this you'll like this then. You'll love the next ones, right? These are the meetings then. 19th of September 2021 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So let's put them all in here. These are the ones. And 3-0 loss at the Hotspur Stadium. 2-0 loss at Stamford Bridge. 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge. 4-1, as we all know. And 2-0 win. So we've got 3 losses, 1 win, 1 draw in the previous 5 meetings. We've won 2, lost 1 at the Hotspur Stadium, and we've lost 1, drawn 1 at Stamford Bridge. Adding on to that, the last 5 meetings at Stamford Bridge, as you will see. 27th of February 2019, we lost 2-0, Pedro and an own goal. 22 February 2020, we lost 2-1. 29th of November 2020, 0-0 draw. 23rd of Jan 2022, we lost 2-0. And 14th of Jan 2022, which was last season, 2-2 draw. And 3 different managers, Mourinho and Pochettino. Sam. Good record, that, isn't it? Last 5 meetings at their stadium.
Yeah. I remember that one, obviously, last season. Reece James scored. He's the type of players there that you think, oh, God, why is he? He's always injured, but yeah, he's up for playing against us. And now, again, he's not going to be playing tomorrow. I know that, but it's those sort of things. They've got this ability to even when they're shite, and they are shite at the moment, they can still pull the results off. Now, that can come down to a couple of things. As we said, we're playing the history. It goes back to that 2017 game when it was, as I keep mentioning, Battle of the Bridge type stuff. And that plays into the psyche of the club. Again, a lot of that personnel is no longer there from that time. So we shouldn't have that hangover. The other thing that we've got to also add in there is Pochettino. Postecoglou come out and said about the Arsenal game, he's not playing the Arsenal history. We shouldn't be looking to just, dethrone our main rivals. And Chelsea haven't been our rivals, and Arsenal haven't been our rivals for years. They're our enemies. I'll say that they're not our rivals because we're not competing, or we weren't competing on the same level for trophies and success and all the rest of it. Obviously, top 4, we can look at that as success in some format, but in my eyes, success is winning a trophy. So let's not get into that. But they always seem to, as they did against us early in the season, do something that makes us get to that point where we're doing this. All I'm hoping that tomorrow we get is that we, as Postecoglou said, we don't play the occasion. We'll play the team that's in front of us. And if we play the team that's in front of us, even with the likes of certain players being out, because Chelsea got a lot of players out, we should, if they play in the same way, it'd be a very open game and we should take points from them.
Sean, last 5 meetings at Stamford Bridge, we've scored 2 goals. Højbjerg and Kane. That was last season. So it's not good. It's not going into that stadium tomorrow on good stead, is it?
No, it's. I mean, you can. As a Spurs fan, sometimes it's like we have. You know, we look at the season. We've got 37 games and one game that we've already lost. You know, and that's this one. You know, but it's no. The omen's not good, but you know, sequences are there to be broken. Let's hope tomorrow night we got a sequence being broken.
I'm sure we say that every season. Every season, same old. Right. So previous 5 meetings then, or last 5 fixtures, they beat Man United 4-3. We beat Luton 2-1. They drew with Sheffield United 2-2. We drew West Ham 1-1. They beat Everton 6-0. We beat Forest 3-1. They lost to Arsenal 5-0. We lost 4-0 to Newcastle. They drew with Villa 2-2. We lost to Arsenal 3-2. Now, their last performance, I'm going by the last. I mean, Arsenal, they were absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Like we were against Newcastle United. They were, I think that second half performance against Chelsea and Villa, they should have won that game because on paper, if you look at it, they could have won it with DLC's last minute thing. Second half, they absolutely peppered Aston Villa. And this is an Aston Villa side that plays similar to us, who, in my opinion, have got better front three at this precise moment than we have because they're delivering. Yet they actually took them to the sword, but they were unlucky not to win the game. Both teams then won 2. We've lost 2, drawn 1. They've drawn 2, lost 1. Sean, again, this question, does the last 5 games, the form, does that mean anything going into this game? Or is it Tottenham, Chelsea, form goes out the window?
Well, it's very hard. I mean, if you look at our you know, we're on a pretty sticky wicket. You know, we've beaten who have we beaten? We've only beaten the 2 teams that are likely to be relegated. Yeah. They've had some, you know, I mean, how they beat United, well, United switching off at a last-minute corner. It's, you know, it is alarming, that second half performance, because they should have beaten Villa.
Yeah.
But then, you know, it's not that long ago we were dusting Villa off as well, you know, on their patch. So, you know, if we could get something close to that performance, it would be great. But as we'll go into when we look at the team, there are obstacles to come.
Absolutely. So, Sean, this is 2 teams that you cannot predict what's going to happen on the day, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's you know, when we get to the score prediction things, I'll have to give about 15 different options because it could go any way. You know what I mean? It's you know, you know, we say that Arsenal is a rivalry. Since 2004, this team have become as much a rivalry to another. You know, these are the 2 fixtures that, you know, the last one and this one that I want to win more than anything else now. And we very rarely get it right. And I want it to happen tomorrow so much.
Sam, going into this then tomorrow, is this the right time now to play Chelsea after obviously getting hammered by Newcastle? So against Arsenal, could have got a point, could have got hammered, but we ended up 3-2. Is this the right fixture then to go to Stamford Bridge then straight after?
If I'm honest, I don't know the answer to that question. Yeah. If I look at the results that we've had, we've lost 2 games in a row. We don't want to be losing 3 games in a row. But then given the history of Chelsea, you don't want to be going to Stamford Bridge to try and win a game and not lose 3 in a row. So I don't know the answer, because if I look at what Pochettino's done with the Chelsea, I'm not sure what's happened, but then they've garnered some results recently. They haven't really got a style of play. They've got individuals that can play, and that's always a danger because individuals can make a difference to the game. If the other team's not on it, we are going to the Bridge, as I said, off the back of not having the best of the last couple of games. So I don't know. But what I do know is I think we're more predictable than what Chelsea are in terms of how we play. You're right in what you said about the scoreline. I ain't got a clue what it's going to be yet. So that's going to be interesting for the predictions. But I can tell you that we'll probably have the majority of the ball. It's whether or not Chelsea, if these players from Chelsea are disciplined enough to do similar to what Arsenal did. Now, I know we said Arsenal got pushed back. Chelsea may get pushed back, but I still didn't get pushed back by other teams. And then they still try to come out and play. There's massive gaps, and it becomes like a basketball game. If it's the case where it's a basketball game, it's who's more clinical in the end. And if we're, and again, keep going back to the point, in both boxes, if they're more clinical in their box than we are in their attacking box, it could be a loss. If we are more clinical, then again, the opposite.
Season so far then. Season so far. Tottenham 5th, Chelsea 9th. They've won 13, we've won 18. They've drawn 9, we've drawn 6. They've lost 11, we've lost 9. They've only lost 2 more games than us. Average goals scored per game, 1.91 Chelsea, 2.03 Tottenham. 1.79 conceded, 1.58 conceded. 6 clean sheets each. Chances created per match. Again, look, 2.21, 2.3 Tottenham. Their biggest win, 6-0 and 5-0 biggest loss. Ours is 4-0 and 4-0. Sam, you know, I know you like all this, but this is quite close, isn't it? And it just sort of says the forms of both these teams.
Yeah. If you looked at this particular graphic probably 10, 15 games ago, it would have probably been a lot different, because obviously it would have been different. And what I mean by that is Chelsea, they were terrible. Now that fact, I'm looking at these stats after 30 odd games, it's going to be a true reflection of the season more so than anything. And we're pretty much, we're very similar. The only difference is obviously the couple of losses that they've got additional, maybe turned into wins or draws. They'd be close. And we've all talked about, everybody, and I'm not just talking about us, everybody said this season Chelsea have been a basket case. If that's the case, there's one of two things. Either they've been unlucky in terms of results and, you know, they're not quite where they should be, or we're getting to the point where we're above where we should be. It may be a combination of the two. And this is why it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams play when we play tomorrow, because it's going to be a close game, and I think it's going to be goals in it.
Yeah. We've won 5 more games, Sean, than them. They've drawn 3 more than us. They've lost 2 less. But apart from that, if you look at the goals scored, goals conceded, clean sheets, they're on par with us. Everything's quite similar, isn't it? So this is not a 0-0 game tomorrow, is it really?
No, it's not a 0-0 game, and you know, as Sam has alluded to, that they do have the ability to you know, put in a performance. Like, for example, when I watched the cup semi-final against City, they were by far the better team. They just didn't have a striker to score. I mean, you know, Jackson had enough chances in the first half to put that game beyond City, and City just, you know, ground them down and you know, got the job done with a silver goal late on in the game. I just you know, those stats there don't give me any pause for or any cause for optimism. Let's put it that way. You know, it's we're very, very similar. You know, our figures are probably distorted by the opening 10 games.
Yeah.
And you know, it's very much a season of 2 halves. And certainly since the Chelsea game, if you look at our figures, they've been poor, very poor.
It's literally a season of 2 halves. It's not only a season of 2 halves, it's a game of 2 halves as well, isn't it? Because, like you said, first 10 games, we were on fire. Everybody was like, whoa, watch out for these lot. Second half of that, after that, then injuries came and whatever. We've gone off the boil. First half performances, again, they've not been that good a majority of the season. Second half, we've come out. So like I said yesterday, maybe they should just get paid half their wages, because they only turn up for half the games, don't they?
I don't think they're going to get that.
I know.
Passed through.
I know. It's worth asking, isn't it?
Worth a try, though.
Absolutely. Right. Mr. Audio Artisan has asked a question. Did PEH and Davies do enough to stay in the first 11? Well, Mr. Artisan, I will update you. Press conference from Austin. Ange Postecoglou has just been done. And Davis is not available. He's out for the rest of the season, and so is Mr. Werner. Is out for the rest of the season. So could it be Werner's final appearance at the Arsenal on Sunday?
Bye,
Sure.
Timo.
Sam is
See you
already
later.
planned a party. He's already planned.
If you need a lift, let me know. I'm
There you go. He's
quite
gonna fly him there.
available.
He's going to escort him there. He's going to make sure he's his bodyguard. He's going to make sure he gets to where his final destination is going to be getting to. Right. So we'll talk about that. But how bad is that Ben Davis injury, Sean? How bad is that now for us going into the rest of, last 3-4 games?
Well, given that, you know, we're missing our two specialist left backs.
Yeah,
it's very difficult. You know, I don't know if there's I do believe the under-21s have got a very important game, so it's not like we can draft a kid in from the under-21s. Say they're playing the same night as us. I'm gutted. You know, I think other than letting Saka get away on Sunday, I thought Ben did all right.
I thought so too. I thought he did all right.
Yeah. So I'm very disappointed. It's actually a calf injury that he's got. So he took a few. He obviously took a few clatterings as well as the Rice castration kick, shall we say? It's disappointing. As to Audio's question, I don't know about. I'm again, Chelsea are quite a transition team. They've got a bit of pace, and I don't think he's got the ability to cover the ground at a 6. So I don't know what we do. I'm disappointed. I don't think he did enough to warrant being picked. He's very good at closing out a game, but from the start, I just don't see enough from Pierre, I'm afraid.
Sam, big miss then, Ben Davis?
Big miss. Well, yeah, because it's left-sided player. You really want to try and keep your shape in terms of left-sided player. That means that I believe Emerson Royal will start unless Ange pulls out something out the woodwork to change that. I can see Emerson Royal playing at left back, which again gives us a bit of solidity defensively, but then it causes us problems if we've got players going on the outside to make crosses, and they've got what's his name, that right back, is it Gusto? If
Gusto,
he's available, he's a good player. I don't like that matchup, if I'm honest with you. Them getting forward, if they put another speed merchant on that side as well, they'll probably attack that side. So I can see Chelsea identifying that as a weakness for us and probably going for that. The one thing I will say about this game tomorrow, and I usually always say it, that the first goal is always the most important. I don't really think in this game it will be, because both teams have had goals going against them, and it's not really affected how they've come back in terms of games. I think this one,
who gets the last goal?
It's who gets the last goal in this one. But in this sense, it's if the first goal goes in early, I think that could be a big catalyst. If they get it early, the crowd will be up, they'll be up for it, and they'll go for it even more so. And if they then get 1 or 2 goals after that, it could be a bit of a disaster. But then it could work the opposite for us. If we get that first goal, they might start panicking because they're not going to listen to as many instructions as Pochettino is going to put out to them, because these players are playing off the cuff. Then we could have a very good result. So an early first goal could be, but if it's just like whoever scores first in the half and it's 1-0 at half time or whatever, I don't think it's going to be too detrimental. Whoever scores the last goal, Sid.
Yeah. So tomorrow, right? We've, like I said, he's just confirmed that then Ben Davis is not available to play left back. So obvious fit is play a right back at left back in Emerson Royal, and then let him do his Brazilian skills and disappear and just give him the freedom of the Stamford Bridge, because that's what he's going to do. Now, then, and Audio has put it in here as well, and I was thinking the same. Can we not put Van de Ven at left back, bring in Dragusin to play as a centre back, and then, because Van de Ven probably can play as a left back, is that an option? Or play 3 at the back with Van de Ven, Romero and Dragusin? Or do you guys think that he'll actually stick with Royal at left back? Because I think having Van de Ven at left back is a good option, and played Dragusin, because we've only got 3-4 games left now, so we need to see this guy actually play a full game. What's your thoughts on that, Sam?
So again, I think Sean's probably said this before on other streams, and I think we've all probably touched on it. You might then start moving too many players out of their positions to accommodate for one player coming into the team. So if you move Van der Ven to left back, you're playing Dragusin in a position where we've seen him at left centre back's not his best. So that's two players playing in positions which they shouldn't do. The other thing about Van der Ven playing left back is, as I keep saying, they're not really left backs and full backs per se. They're playing in midfield. Does he have that ball carrying ability to be able to play as a midfielder to go attacking? Well, I've seen him. He scored that goal that was offside. He has got that. But what do we need him more so to do? We need him to recover. As I keep saying, they've got a lot of pace on that left-hand side or potentially on that right-hand side if they do play the players I think they're going to play. And we need someone who's going to be able to cover for us in that defensive area. I'm not quite sure Dragusin has got the confidence as yet to be able to do that because he's had a couple of games where it's not been the greatest for him because he's playing out of position. Stick with them two at the back and we just have to see what Royal does because he is going to be playing in midfield. So we're not looking for... Okay. What I said about Royal is he might play a bit more defensively than probably somebody else who would deep, but he's not right-sided. He's not left-sided. So we could have a potential problem, but I don't think you should put the Ven to left back because of what I just said. In my opinion.
Ange won't change, mate, Sean. That's who we are, mate. The other option, right? So is Lockman saying some harsh facts? Is Ange going to stick the way he's been sticking all season? Is he going to change? Because the other option as well, Sean, is if potentially you could play three at the back, yeah, with Van der Ven, Romero, and Dragusin as the three at the back, and then change the middle or do however that way. Or is he just going to stick to what he knows best, plan A or plan A or plan A?
I think the problem is that under Ange's system, you require Van der Ven to do the mopping up.
Yeah.
And remember, they've got quick forwards.
Yeah. Very
quick forwards. I mean, they might not be very efficient in terms of finishing, but, you know, their pace is quite alarming. So I don't think he will risk that. He hasn't played three at a back since he was Australia coach, as far as I know, other than maybe when he's closing out a game in the league up here, certainly at Celtic or...
He's done it at Spurs as well towards the beginning of the season, didn't he, where he brought him on, So that's not going to happen, is it?
No, I think he will go with this. You know, the only, you know, obviously the weak link is Emerson because he's not been playing. He's playing on the wrong side of the field for him.
Exactly.
And you know, I just don't see him being able to carry. I mean, we saw it when he played left back in those games when you know there was injuries. I mean, he would carry the ball and then he would like realize, oh dear, I've got to use my left foot, and he'd turn backwards.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a weakened back line with Royal at left back, but I think that's his only option, given that the under 21s have got a very important game. So he couldn't bring in, say, a Dorrington or someone like that, you know. So it's
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Yeah. We know one thing.
Can I just say to that with the my mind was getting a little bit. What it's come back to me. Royal also, again, it weakens us in two ways. It weakens us from a defensive perspective, him playing on the wrong side, but it also weakens us from an attacking perspective. I think Ben Davies is a better attacker, even though he's not as good as someone like a Doggy, because he has got the ability to be He's left-footed, so you then can get on the outside, but he also, as we see, Ben Davies popped up on the inside to get the penalty. Royal, he's a player that we've all kind of ridiculed at times. He wants to stay at Spurs. He spent nearly £1 million to stay at Spurs and get himself fit. He's trying, but it comes down to the point I've made before. The quality, our whole system and Ange's philosophy relies on quality throughout. And if you're playing a player that we all know is going to struggle against pace and trickery and all the rest of it, and who doesn't have the same amount of ability to create as much, then I think we're going to be playing with 10.5 men, in my opinion. So again, these are the things that Ange needs to look at, because this is an important game. We can't lose 3 in a row. And if we lose 3 in a row, it's putting us under a lot of pressure for that next game. And obviously then gets into the Manchester City area and blah, blah, blah. So it's really, really important.
Yeah. And like you said, if we lose that on Chelsea tomorrow, then that means 3 under bounce, and then we're going to Anfield on Sunday, which is another one of them grounds where nothing happens.
And this is what I'm saying. This is why this game is really critical. And I understand what Andrew's saying, that we want to test ourselves and we want to see how we perform against the teams. But we potentially could be losing 4 games. And I'm not looking to the Liverpool game yet, but I am looking because of the history. As you've just shown with the graphic with the Chelsea, it's not much better at Anfield.
Exactly. And we do know one thing, though. On tomorrow evening at 7:30, we do know what good beats he's going to be doing. He's going to be watching the game, and in the background, it's going to be, all I do is sit and pray, hoping that Emerson Royal will have a good game one day. He'll be listening to take that, and he'll be going to be sat there praying, like he said.
We have Q Emerson Royal man of the match performance.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
He pockets Madueke and Palmer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, though, when he played centre back that time, we all giving him praise for the fact that he was playing out of his skin. He had to. So maybe we might get the same sort of thing. He hasn't played a lot. He might then try, because he's got to try and prove himself, he might have the man of the match game. I just think it's going to be very difficult to get a man of the match game with that amount of pace that he's going to have on that side, if he plays.
Wow, Sean, that's my prayer.
We're on the same wavelength, good beats. We're on the same wavelength.
But we know what happens at Stamford Bridge. This is a good one. Don't worry, guys. Jackson can't score. That's what we said when they come to us, didn't they? We can't score. He's not going to score, and then he scores a hat trick. All right, it was.
He could have scored 6 if he was a decent shooter. He would have scored 6 that game.
I know.
He's terrible, and he got a hat trick. He was terrible.
I know. Right, so brings me on to the midfield, then, boys. This is Sam. I want you to start on this because you cried, you prayed, you done a good beats, and you sat and prayed that Højbjerg would start someday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And are you still sticking to that? Or
again, I look at personnel for the approach of different teams. Arsenal obviously being top of the league, you wanted to be a bit more defensively solid, and that's my approach to having someone like Højbjerg in there as opposed to Bissouma. Bissouma's form hadn't been that great. Now we're playing Chelsea, and we're probably likely to see a game where you maybe want a bit more of the flair players. So again, I would look at that starting 11 as being what you've just put up there, Bissouma, Sarr and Maddison, to go back to that. Because if Sarr's now playing better in terms of his fitness, we all know that he plays better with Bissouma. The only thing I would say about the formation, I don't think we should play a lone 6. I think we should have them playing from a double pivot, but not, you don't stay in that position, I know. And Sarr has the ability with his engine to be able to be in attack and get back in defense. We've seen him with his crossing, we've seen him create, we've seen him have shots. So he's going to be probably the most important player tomorrow because he has to do a job of both the 8 and the 6, in my opinion, and possibly even a 10.
Sean, can we do Bissouma, Maddison, Sarr, or as Lockman's saying here, can we do a Sarr, Benny, Maddison? And I'm going to throw one in, guys. I'm going to throw one in. Sean might like it. Not a lot, but you might do. Skip's fit. Can we not use Skip and somebody else as a double pivot? Because Skip can do the job.
I don't think Skip will be totally fit. I think he might make the bench.
Yeah, he said he's back.
He's back, but I don't think he'll make the first team.
Okay.
So I would say of the available players, I would go for. I love Bentancur, but I still think he's still recuperating from his long-term injury.
Agreed.
I would go Sarr, Bissouma, but I would want to see Giovanni Lo Celso.
Do you know what, Sean?
Ooh,
I actually, when I done this team yesterday, I done Lo Celso instead of Maddison, and my son came in and said, "Dad, that's not going to happen. You know that, don't you? Put Maddison back because he's going to start Maddison." But I had Lo Celso to stop.
I think Lo Celso will be fired up for this game. He wants to prove something. He said, "I stayed for you, and you've fucked me about, to be honest."
Yeah.
And I think he would love this kind of game, And he's got a threat from distance. He's got a bit of guile. He's got a bit of shithousery. He'll put the foot in. Yeah, I would rather have the Celso than Maddison at the moment.
No, so, Sean, you got it wrong. It should be, I would love it. I would love it if the Celso started. But the thing is, it might do Maddison good to come off the bench for once because he's not been playing well. And this game tomorrow for him, it could just easily go sideways if he doesn't start well and he gets frustrated. So why not, like you said, start with Lo Celso and bring Maddison on later if we need to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against those that are in the comments that are shouting for Kulu in the 10 as well, because I thought he played well in the 10 against Arsenal. He also played well on the wide on the right as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I've gone
for me, I think Maddison needs to cool his heels on the bench.
Yeah,
tomorrow night.
I agree. The reason I didn't put Kulu in there is because I've gone with him on the right, Son on the left, and Richarlison up top. Sam, good.
Is your the front line or the midfield?
We can talk about Maddison.
I'll go into just my thoughts on that and then go into the front three. I don't know if Maddison. I think Maddison will start, and the reason I say that is because they're part of that leadership group: Romero, Maddison, and Son. And it doesn't appear to me that if they're fit, they don't seem to be dropped. Now, Romero, obviously, for reasons that we've seen, I don't think he's undroppable at this present time because I think he's playing well enough. He's probably been our best defender this season consistently, I would say. Van der Ven close by, but obviously he had that injury slot. But Maddison, again, he's a player that we could look at two ways. If he doesn't start tomorrow and we don't get the result, we say, why didn't Maddison start? Because he's probably our best number 10. But if he does start and has another poor game, it's like, why did he start? We've had 3 or 4, 5, 6 games. I don't know. So I'm just assuming that Postecoglou, by the way that he does manage and the way that I've seen, is going to play the players that he knows and he probably trusts. I think he trusts Maddison. He can't be trusting Lo Celso because everybody else but Lo Celso's played in Lo Celso's role. So I can't see him just saying, you know what, for the game that I need to win, I'm going to bring Lo Celso. I don't see that happening. I think Kulu would probably start before Lo Celso would do, and he would probably start before Maddison if that's going to be the case. But I see that being the 3 that's going to start. And in the front line, it has to be them 3, apart from potentially Johnson for Kulusevski. But Kulusevski, I look back over that game that he played against Arsenal, and I think he was quite effective. Although at the time in the stadium, I didn't because I was trying to look at everything else. So, yeah, the only change possibly would be Kulusevski for Johnson. I don't see Maddison not starting the game tomorrow, though.
But you see, the reason I've put Kulu in is because I think he had a decent game. Sean said it. I think he played well. Johnson, for me, bring him on as an impact sub because he can do that job, and he's done it, and he's proved it. When he comes on, he changes games. And when you're playing Chelsea, if the game is...
A little hands up, just so you can finish your point, little hands up. Hopefully it'll be Cucurella playing in that left-back position. Is he left-back or right-back?
He's left. Cucurella. He's left.
Yeah, because Gusto's on the other side. So pace-wise, I don't think Cucurella's that great. So if you get... And he tries to play quite high as well. So there's an opportunity. In the same way we were exposed on the wings in the wide areas, so are Chelsea. Gusto and Cucurella love to fly down the wings. Potentially, if you've got more pace than Kulusevski, you could exploit that. And I think Johnson would exploit that, in my opinion. And
if you're like, depending on how the game's going second half, there's no better substitution than to bring on Johnson because Johnson will cause havoc, right? Not havoc, right? And that's why I went with Decky because Decky's been, I think he had a good game against Arsenal. And if he can do that again against Chelsea at home, that's why. Richie, for me, has to start now because he came on. And like you said, Sean, with Lo Celso, Rich is another kind of player, shithousery. He'll get the team fired up, right? And that is what we need. We've already said about Son, right? He's like you said, Sam. He's undroppable. They're not going to drop him, him, Maddison or Romero because they're captains. But he when he goes wide, he plays better than when he's up top. because otherwise Chelsea will eat him up, Silva and whoever plays. I mean, Botticelli's playing, and he's a bit of a kamikaze at times anyway. But if you play Richarlison there and then let Kulu and Son do the bits either side, I think it's a recipe that could work. Sean, agree with the front three, or would you have someone else?
That would be my front three. Yeah. I did feel that Johnson looks really good on the right.
Yeah.
So if Maddison, if we go with that, the team that you've got, and if Maddison's not doing it on 60 minutes, you move Kulu there and you bring Johnson on the right.
Yeah.
And then, you've got pace on the wings, and you just got to exploit that, because this is not a great Chelsea team.
No, but again, I think. Go on, Sean. Carry on.
No. It's just, I mean, if that's the team tomorrow, then obviously you back the boys whenever they think. But it's a tough call. It's a tough call,
I think Richie has to start. Do we all agree with that?
He should have started on Sunday as well. I'm sorry.
If he doesn't start tomorrow,
yeah,
I'd be having to ask some questions about this.
100%.
About him.
Yeah, and we said, didn't we, on Friday or Saturday when we done the preview, that he should have started. For me, he should have started on Sunday against Arsenal. So I agree with you, Sam. If he doesn't start tomorrow's game, then questions need to be asked, because he is fit. Then why wouldn't you start?
And the obvious thing is, I think that front three played better when they were in that position.
Yes.
Well, because Kulusevski did he stay on the right when Richarlison came on? He did, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah. So I think they were effective, and then they're even more effective when I think Johnson came on that right and Kulusevski went in just in behind. So there's options, as Sean said, there's options for Postecoglou to make and adjust tactically. It's whether or not these players are going to be up for this game tomorrow. And they have to be, don't they? They have to be up for it.
Because you've said it already, Sam. We cannot have a humiliation against Newcastle away. Sort of on-off performance against Arsenal, which people wanted us to win, and we didn't. We lost that one. Then you lose to Chelsea, so that you've lost to two of your enemies within 3 days. Then you've got to go to Anfield on Sunday, and you know exactly what's going to happen there. You can't then have 3/4 losses on the bounce. That's a disaster.
Yeah, not looking too far forward to the Liverpool game. Obviously, there's a bit of disruption in the Liverpool camp with the Salah Klopp thing. But
no,
is that sorted?
Yeah, Salah signing a new contract apparently, and it's all been buried under the sea. Klopp said there's no issues. It's all done and dusted as far as he's concerned. And Salah staying, he's signing another extra year or something.
Okay, but there's still obviously with the Klopp thing going, and there might be a little bit of, well, what are we going to play for? Because I don't think they're in the race anymore. The other two teams ain't going to lose 2 games on the trot or 2 games within the last 3 or 4. So Liverpool, what are they playing for? Just to be as high as possible. They could potentially be second, but I don't think they will be. It'll be the top 2. So they are where they are. They're not going to be outside the top 4. What's their motivation? The motivation is probably to see Klopp's last home game against Spurs, and that's what I don't want to see, because that's what your motivation will be. We ain't got anything else to play for. This is Tottenham coming to us. That's the Liverpool side of things. We've got to deal with the Chelsea stuff now, and the Chelsea side of things is pretty much the same sort of thing. They're going to be motivated because it's Tottenham. Pochettino's going to be motivated because it's Tottenham, and they would do everything, in my opinion, to try and derail whatever possibilities we've got of a top 4, because they're not going to be getting the top 4. So the omens don't look good for us. We have to go out and do what we need to do and try and put this team in the best position to win this game. We have got a couple of issues, though.
It's Klopp penultimate last home game. Their last home game is against Wolves. But going back to what you said about what have Liverpool got to play for, I'll quote you something from a famous film. Pride, power, passion, Klopp. That's what they'll be playing for. David Clark, good afternoon. Where are you? He's saying, if Ange is to get success next season, he has to buy 2 proper wingers, not these pretend wingers. Inverted means that they are weak at going to the byline and this is why we are not scoring enough goals. And also, he's saying we need a world-class number 9. That's our main priority. Apparently, I don't know if you both knew, Jimenez and somebody else was at the stadium on Sunday watching Tottenham Arsenal. So make of what you want, because apparently
nice day out to watch Tottenham Arsenal. What are you talking about? It was a nice day. That's probably why they went.
They're in the hospitality of their agents. So
yeah, I know.
I'm sure it was
make of it what you want, because everyone's
and Jimenez is linked with Arsenal as well. So
I know. That's why he came. My son said he's come to watch his next team, Arsenal, play Tottenham. But anyway, it's that moment then, lads. It comes to that moment in time when all our dreams can come true. This is the table as it stands then. We are 7 points behind Aston Villa. Like I said to you, it could potentially be one less game tomorrow with still a 7 points, or we could be one game behind with 4 point gap. Who knows? We will find out tomorrow evening. And then it comes to that moment which you all love. It is the score prediction. Please, everybody in your comment section, tell us what you think. Juicy's gone 1-1. And I think David Clark went 2-3 or 1-2 the other day. He went early, but I can't remember. David, please come with your prediction. Oh, David Clark is saying here, it baffles me that Spurs fans are still backing Kulu. Sorry, but he's done. Interesting. Right. Sean, what do you think the scoreline is going to be tomorrow? That's it. David Clark said Cole Palmer FC 2. Where's he gone? Oh, Tottenham 3.
I would love that score. However, I think it's going to be 2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. And that works out well because I've calculated we need 67 points to clinch 5th place. So we need to beat Sheffield United and Burnley, and we get 66. We get 67 points and draw tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, Sam, what are you saying?
This is such a tough one. Chelsea, if I was wanting to play a team that's going to be open and they're going to be open and exposed, is Chelsea. But they've also got the ability to, on their day, be a very good team on their day with the players that they've got. I've just looked at the goals against for both teams. Obviously, Chelsea have conceded 59 goals in 33 games. We've conceded 52. That's a hell of a lot of goals. Aston Villa have conceded 52. The top teams, Arsenal, have conceded half that, 28, pretty much. God. Oh. 3-2 Spurs. I'm going 3-2 Spurs as well because I can see a lot of goals. And I just think we probably, if we look at it, we should have a little bit more clinicalness, if again that's the word, in front of goal, because Nicholas Jackson isn't clinical. Richarlison starting in the middle, I think, will be the one to score for us. So 3-2 Spurs, Richarlison brace with, I'm going to go Maddison, even though he hasn't been in lots of goal scoring position. I'm going to go with Maddison as the 3rd goal scorer or 2nd goal scorer because Richarlison's got 2.
Sorry, guys, I don't know what's going on here, but my computer's gone AWOL. Are you guys still on?
Yeah, of course we're still on, yeah.
Can you see? Oh, here we go.
I can see you very well.
I was going to say.
I don't know what went on.
TV.
So you've gone for 3-2. Sean, you've gone for 2-2.
Yeah, I got a solid brace.
Cool. And I think Audio is saying here, Mr. Artisan, I thought you was going to play Blockbusters with that transition. Well, guess what?
Looks like a Blockbusters thing. That transition on the
Audio, I'm sure you want a W. Are you going to ask Bob for a W for a win? I'm hoping so. But no, he's asked Bob for a D. D for a draw. He's gone for 3-3. Do you know what?
That would have been my other score prediction.
Yeah. David Clark goes, although it wouldn't surprise me if it was Palmer FC 4, Spurs 5. Juice Nuts is asking, Why so high scores? Even with some Viagra, we can't penetrate.
Jeez, nuts.
Jeez, no, it's 12:57. It's not even 9 p.m. Watershed. David Clark is saying one Romero, Madison, and Son. I'd love a W. Yeah, I would love a W, but hopefully we won't be asking for a P because we won't all be going for a P after that. I think I'm with David Clark here. It could be anything. It could be anything because both teams can't defend. Both teams can score when they want to score, but then again, they're both sort of droughts when it comes to it. My fear is Palmer. If Palmer's on it tomorrow, we got to stop him somehow. But
that's not how we play, though, Sid. We
I
don't
know.
play to stop players.
Exactly.
It's been stated that's not what we do.
Yeah, I honestly want us to win because we can't have another loss. We can't have a loss because that's just 3 on the bounce. But I
even potentially think a draw is not a great result for us. It's not great. It's good in the fact of our whole Chelsea thing, but if you think about it, that's only 1 point out of the last 3 games, and then we've got to go to Anfield, as we keep saying. So
yeah,
make of that what you will.
And on that basis, and on the basis that we're shit at their ground, we can't. No matter how informed we are, how many favourites we are, we just go there and we just don't turn up. So I don't think we'll lose the game, but I think we will draw 2-2. I think it'll be high scoring 2-2. I can't see us losing the game, but then again, I can't see us winning the game. But then again, it could be. I don't know. Do you know what?
So, man, this is one of the hardest games to even think about how this game is going to go. Apart from the fact that it's going to be, I think, end to end, in my opinion. I don't see Chelsea trying to put any sort of low blocks in there at all. Yeah,
honestly, they could win, we could win, or it could be a draw. But I'm going for a draw. But it could be anything. It could be anything. So that's the preview done then, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to us. Watch it be 0-0. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everyone else in the comment sections. There will be a reaction show probably on Friday. Sam, are you planning a talking point, or are you just going to leave it? Because we got that. Then we got to do the preview for Liverpool as well.
So much to try and fit in. Yeah, that's a point. Yeah, we can kind of talk on them talking points in those previews and reviews. I'm sure we'll get into a lot of points in there. So, yeah, we might have to postpone talking points this week unless if people want us to do another one of our chats again. We'll try and find a space if we can, but it might be difficult.
Yeah. Do you know something I said yesterday about Romero? Mm-hmm. I'm just going to raise it again because David Clark's raised it as well. How about playing Dragusin and Van de Ven with Romero in the number 6 role?
How many days have you had to prepare for that?
That's the problem.
Not many. And they've had to have a rest day in between the Arsenal game. Usually the first day back of training is, again, maybe going through what they've done. So that would have been taking us to the Tuesday. They probably have had only today really to prepare for this game. And whatever time they've got tomorrow, can't see it.
Nah, I can't as well. Right then, boys. Hope you have a good... What day is it today? I can't even... Wednesday. Hope you have a good day. Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy tomorrow. And then it's the game tomorrow. We will be back on Friday, more likely, for the reaction show. And Mr. Goodbeats, all I do is sit and pray, hoping that we'll win at Stamford Bridge someday. Right. We're out. Take care. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Develop,